Hello and welcome. This is week 9 of the NASCAR Euro Series. We're at Snetterton 200 circuit, a track that I've never actually raced on before despite it being free on iRacing for the last 4 or 5 years. Have driven it in other sims. It's kind of an iconically shaped track, but yeah, this is our first race. This is the Wednesday 8:15 p.m. split, as I've done pretty much all season. We've got a 26 car field. We just really didn't have the pace in practice or qualifying. About a second off the pole sitter's time. Pretty tight field, but yeah, we find ourselves starting back in 7th, so this is a difficult car to pass with, so we've got to make moves early on if we want to move up to compete for a podium position. Waiting for the start. We get a pretty good launch. Easily clear the 9 car starting in 8th and close right up on the 8 car, which started right ahead of us in 5th. There's room to the left, but we don't really want to be on the outside of turn 1 here, so we tuck back in line. Careful not to overdrive the tires the first few laps, of course. Going to turn 2, I start to see a stack up look like it's going to happen, so we do send it on the inside, get to the side of the 8. And we're rolling around the outside through turn 3. Actually are able to keep up our momentum and pull just ahead of the 8 car into 6th position. So doing exactly what we need to do at the start to gain positions. A lot of the same regulars that have been racing the split all season are in this race, which is good to see. So Snetterton 200 is a pretty short circuit, just 2 kilometers long, or 2 miles long, I'm actually not sure. But it cuts out the kind of tight infield section, but the few corners that are on this track are really difficult. A lot of long braking while turning, late apex type corners. The camber is kind of interesting. Yeah, we did about 20 to 30 minutes of practice right before the split, which was all the practice we've had here all week. Spent some time watching Aaron's laps in practice and a few of the other fast guys, and we learned a little bit, but yeah, it didn't quite have the same pace as we'd like to have. That being said, this is a 26 car field, so top 5 would still be really good. The SOF is about on par with what these races have been all season, just around 2,000, maybe a little bit less in this particular split. Behind us, gap is already opened up. So yeah, not really feeling any pressure now, lap 2 from behind us. We're just trying to stick with Warren, Billy, Aaron, Joe, and that's Carl in first place, who've definitely gapped the rest of us by a bit. Yeah, these final 2 corners I was finding exceptionally difficult. You're kind of balancing the throttle and brake through the entire corner. I don't know if it's better to be tight or wide, take kind of a late turn in the early right-hand section of the corner, how much runoff to use on the exit back to the left on the front stretch. Yeah, we were experimenting a bit in practice, but hard to find a consistently fast line. Ahead of us, Billy and Aaron almost go side by side and make contact, but not quite. Everyone maintains the same position. These 2 corners after what I would consider the back stretch are basically the same, but mirrored compared to, I guess this is called Coram and Murray is the final 2 corners, but very similar kind of action where you're slowing down while braking into a sweeper and then have a tight, like 90-degree corner that leads you onto a straight. So there's not really a heavy braking opportunity other than turn 2, I suppose. So very difficult to set up a pass. Worried we're already losing Warren ahead of us, and we kind of missed turn 1 here, which is a bit of a double apex sweeper. But even if you are able to get side by side into turn 2, you have a switchback right here in turn 3 to the left that kind of gives the advantage right back to the car on the outside of turn 2. So yeah, already tell that this is going to be a very difficult race to set up a pass. Ahead, Billy does finally get by Aaron. We almost have a look to the inside of Warren, but again, that would have put us on the outside of this next very tight corner. So we back out of it. Lap car pulling off to the side here.
15.525. The car in T2 just set the fastest lap. 14.68.
So 14.68 is almost a second faster than what we just did on that last lap. I think we got into the 14.9. This is our best lap in practice. Jonathan in the 8 car, who we'd passed on the first lap, had been able to recover pretty well, and he's starting to close back up on us. Behind him, Nick is 3.5 seconds behind, so top 7 definitely separating from the rest of the field. We almost lock up and clobber into the back of Warren that time, but thankfully stop ourselves from doing so. I was definitely struggling with a lot more front tire lockups at this track than I have all season. Like I have every week, I do have the brake bias moved as far rearward as possible. It's just quite clearly to me the fastest way to drive this car. But despite that, I guess with all of the braking while turning corners on this circuit, we were kind of overworking the front tires and yeah, locking up quite a bit.
New fast lap for you.
15 flat, our fastest lap of the race so far. Still a few tenths off what the leaders are running, but it's keeping us close to the top 5. Felt like I was doing really well into turns 2 and 3. But again, unless you can really get a better run out of turn 3, you're just not really going to have an opportunity to pass into this corner. Warren looks like he gets a little bit loose. Again, we're able to close up and actually give a little bump to Warren through turns 2 and 3, but no opportunity for us. He's still close enough to Aaron in 4th place that we don't really want to force anything side by side in case he can actually make the pass on 4th place and, you know, let us all bunch up and give me an opportunity to pass both of them. That time we run a little wide and get loose coming out of the corner. Halfway through the race, 8 laps down, still in 6th place. Only one pass for position for us, and that we've seen happen in front of us. Further back in the field, I think a few people are moving through the field a little bit. Hard to say. Again, we close up really closely out of turn 2 into turn 3 and give another bump to the 6 car. Another lap with more of the same, staying pretty close to Warren and Aaron in front of us, but no opportunities to make a pass. Still sitting in 6th place. Up ahead, they're having a pretty tight battle for the lead between Joe and Carl. We just weren't able to get as good of a run coming out of turn 3 as we would have liked. So no opportunity to move into the turn 4 and 5 junction. Possibly could have been a bit more aggressive on the throttle, but I was worried about having a big oversteer moment every time coming out of 3 and really killing my momentum down the straight. And as the front tires wore, it got more and more difficult to make the turn in through the bomb hole corner. So a few times I ran wide or was fighting a bit of a push loose on exit of the corner, as were the guys in front of me. 7.5 minutes to go at this point, 10 laps done. Again, we close right up onto the back of Warren, but actually run a bit deep that time after making contact, and we lose a lot of momentum. Thankfully, we didn't really run him over all the way or make damage to either of our cars, but that cost us probably about half of a second. And the little bit of wheel hop and lockup that I got definitely wasn't going to help the tires. And then again, going to turn 5, I have another kind of significant lockup and just took an awful line through that corner, which cost me some more time. Although Warren made a mistake too, so we didn't really lose out to him, but for our overall lap time, it wasn't very smooth. And then again on the final corner, actually, we understeered quite a bit. So it's really from this point on, honestly, the front tire started giving up hard. All the little lockups I had and just, I don't know, fighting the car on entry to all of the corners really kind of added up to this point. And yeah, from this point on, it's going to be very difficult to gain time on everyone in front of us unless they themselves start making big mistakes or abuse their tires. You can see there I try to be a bit more aggressive coming out of turn 3, and I did get a bit of a slide coming out of the corner, which cost us time. Still 3 seconds of a gap behind us to 7th place, so not worried about him, but I can start to feel that I'm really struggling with the car at this point, and just kind of trying to hold on. Kind of a big lazy slide coming out of that corner. Looking at our lap time, we're actually not so far off. It just felt really slow, and even 15 minutes into the race, the leaders are still able to match or even better their best times. So that's Carl that puts it in a 14.8 as we put in a 15.5. So losing nearly a second per lap, which is huge. Yeah, they're really fast, but we would like to be closer than that. Have a big slide through turn 1 too, so it's not just the front tires that are giving up at this point of the race. It looked like Aaron was starting to struggle a bit more too, so yeah, hopefully Warren and Aaron can get side by side and slow each other down. That's kind of our chance at a top 5 here. But Warren hadn't been able to really even show the nose and get any kind of overlap all race, so it's going to kind of depend on Aaron making a significant mistake. Billy in 3rd place is kind of in no man's land, but a solid finishing position if he can hold on there for sure. Yeah, very impressive to be able to make the fastest laps at this point in the race. I don't know what they're doing to conserve tires so much, especially at this track. I just felt like you have to abuse the front tires so much with all of these awkward curved braking zones. But definitely a skill problem on my end, something to work on for the future. Mistakes just piling up at this point. We overcook it into that corner, have a slow exit. Everyone in front of us is getting a little bit slower. We're down to less than 3 laps to go, or less than 3 minutes to go, which equals, I believe, 3 laps to go. It might just be 2 to go. Could be really close. The leaders just crossed the line with almost exactly 2.5 minutes left in the race.
15.645.
Looking at the track map, behind 7th, Nick is also kind of racing just on his own. 4 seconds behind him. 9th on through about 13th or 14th is kind of a close pack, and then just a few stragglers further back in the field. Likely no lapped cars going to get in the way of the leaders fighting, or Aaron and Warren for 4th place.
White flag this time.
So we do get the white flag here.
One, just set the fastest lap. 14.
Super impressive 14.3 lap. More than a second faster than us. Just crazy lap time. I'd love to be able to do that on fresh tires, even fresh tires with a little bit of low fuel. But yeah, I'm accepting my fate for sixth place at this point, kind of just throwing the car into the corners for fun. Aaron's under threat enough to kind of show defensive line going to turn 4. Warren is right behind him. I was wondering if he's going to maybe use the front bumper. He kind of looks to the inside. Fully gets the inside here, but Aaron's protecting for the switchback on the final corner. They're side by side. A little bit of contact, I believe, ahead of us, but Aaron's able to hold on and keep 4th place. Warren will finish 5th. And we only make up 1 position that entire race and finish 6th, though not our best showing, but it was a clean 0x race. Still fun to drive the car. Yeah, get a race in at this
There's the flag.
track
It's over.
with such a big field. Yeah, so we'll look at the results. Little loss of I rating, a little gain of safety rating. 92 championship points for 6th place. Did what we could. On to next week. Thanks for watching.